Nepal and China have maintained good relations for much of history. Today the two countries share a strong strategic relationship, with China playing a vital role mainly in terms of economic and infrastructure development of Nepal. However, things weren't so good, especially during the time when Nepal and India were good in relationship without any border dispute. But that has changed since the rise of nationalism pride among common Nepalese. Today in this video we are going to talk about improving relationship between Nepal and China. Welcome to our channel WorldReport. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. During many decades India was the major investor in Nepal's infrastructure and development projects. To counter China influence in Nepal there was an outbreak of complex geopolitical rivalries. India had allied with Nepal due to their long-term conflicts with China, and more so because Nepal was actually the Hindu kingdom after the end of the British Empire since 1947. China had been allied with Pakistan for most of history, and the ties strengthened especially around the time of the war. As a result, China opposed Nepal and India good relationship from economic level to defense levels after the independence of India. It was only after the military coup in Nepal and King was overthrown by Maoist and other political parties to make Nepal a federal democratic state from a Hindu nation, after the removal of King relations between Nepal and China started to improving. Prime Minister of Nepal since their independence has close ties with India due to vast land border where many people cross the border without securities checks in daily basics. And only months after the military takeover, China eventually tied with government of Nepal as a federal state. State and diplomatic relations were secured. This dramatic transformation was fascinating. But it did not come as a surprise, because China has got a chance to influence Nepal after a long period of time of Nepal-India good relations, which can possibly be regarded as one of the most significant reasons for their improved relationships. Nepal and China made a number of visits to each other country to define the border and improve the bilateral cooperation between both countries, which was followed by Chinese President 11 visits to Nepal in the 2019. Since then, state visits between the two countries have been regular, most of which have resulted in positive discussions and signings of agreements on political, economic, and security issues. Nepal and China have a very strong relationship that ranges from the spheres of the economy, politics, development, to defense and security. Today, Nepal considers China an all-weather friend and a trusted ally. In the 2019 visits to Nepal by the Chinese President Xi Jinping, he stated that Sino-Nepal relations would remain strong, regardless of any change in the domestic or the international situation. Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, on the other hand, reiterated the importance of the country's bilateral relations with China, considering them a major ally of the highest significance. One of the most important aspects of the Sino-Nepal bilateral relations is the economic cooperation. China are by far the second largest trading partner of Nepal after India in first place, with the latest World Bank figures revealing that Chinese exports to Nepal to be worth over many billions dollars in 2019. On the other hand, Nepal is China's second largest trade partner. Majority of Nepalese imports from China consist of raw materials for clothing and textile and electronic goods such as mobile and microchips. However, the balance of trade between the countries is significant, with Nepal having a deficit of approximately 200 billion Nepali rupees. Reduction in trade deficit has been a primary concern for Nepal over the years, and following negotiations China agreed to provide duty-free access to around some Nepali products to the Chinese market under the Asia-Pacific Trade Agreement, which has so far resulted in a slight decline in the ratio of trade deficit. Talks have been in progress for several years about Nepal seeking a zero-tariff access of including ready-made carpet and other yak items products. In order to improve balance of trade, China's meteoric rise in becoming the second largest economy in the world, only behind the United States by toppling Japan, was possible largely due to its diversified economy. while having 14 free trade agreements with developed as well as developing countries around the globe. However, there are some challenges of the free trade agreement, mainly with regard to China's Made in China in 2025 industrial policy plan. There are significant restrictions on investing in China, and also preference is given to state-owned enterprises that control 38% of industrial assets in China, skewing competition in the market in favor of those. Also, another concern for foreign investors is the Chinese ways of implementation and enforcement of laws and regulations which tend to be ambiguous and tax frauds. A major geopolitical challenge concerning the free trade agreement would come from the United States and India, especially with India also having a strong alliance with Nepal. Chances are that India may take the Chinese assertion in its backyard as a means of increasing influence in India's sphere, while the United States may consider a free trade agreement as a geostrategic obstacle in containing China at the Himalayan range near Tibet and the northern part of India. However, if Nepal wants to achieve a fairly unrestricted access to Chinese markets, it needs to keep pushing further on the negotiation table, while asserting to their other major allies, India and the United States, that the actions are for their own best interests, mainly in terms of economic development. The recent trade war instigated by Donald Trump with his protectionist approach, with Chinese retaliations following by, has had impacts in the Nepal economy and many more other Asia countries waiting for the right movement to grow their share in the world market. There has been a rise in steel prices, mainly rods, in the domestic market, threatening both the major public infrastructure projects and the real estate market due to the U.S. imposing tariff on $34 billion worth of exports from China, while the latter imposed tariffs on American cotton. And while China planned on importing cotton from India, the prices had already increased by 10 to 12%. It must be noted that more than half of Nepal's cotton imports are from India. Soaring cotton prices would significantly hurt Nepal's economy as they would affect the carpet and traditional Nepali dress garment sector. Despite having strong economic ties, there have been disagreements. A significant one is Nepal agreeing to China's terms and conditions for the construction of the Nepal joining China biggest project, One Belt One Road project, also known as Silk Road. But generally, defense cooperation has been one of the major increasing strengths in the bilateral relations between the two countries. China happens to be an important country that Nepal has defense-related ties with China near Tibet-Nepal border. Since then, China is supplying large number of weapons and military equipment to Nepal, in less expansive defense product compared to other foreign defense products. The Nepali armed forces have acquired large numbers of guns, drones and artillery, armored personnel carriers, small arms and light weapons. As Chinese arms are the Nepal Army's weapon of choice due to its cost efficiency and discounted rate than other markets. Very recently, China and Nepal made crucial developments in security cooperation. The bilateral relations between the two countries have been elevated to while President 11 visit in Kathmandu, capital of Nepal. The deal is aimed at intelligence sharing, although other important matters such as cybercrime, militancy, transnational crimes, narcotics, fire service, and visa issues were also discussed. During the signing of this major agreement, development cooperation is an integral part of the bilateral relations between China and Nepal. China has played a crucial role in the infrastructure development of Nepal over the years. It has assisted Nepal in building bridges, roads and electric items. The development assistance from China to Nepal and other developing countries. During a recent Nepal visit in 2019, President Xi Jinping promised many billion-dollar development program in economic assistance to Nepal, mainly as related to 5 to 10 projects. China assisted Nepal in the construction of many industrial factories and widening to road connectivity between Nepal's two largest cities, Butwal and Narayanghat, in Terai plain of the country. During 11's visit to Nepal in 2019, the two countries signed agreements for many hydropower projects and road projects, making China the largest foreign investor and Nepal partner to Nepal, overtaking India. China has also provided economic assistance to Nepal in terms of free aid and token gifts. There had been discussions for several years on potential road and railway connections linking Tibet to Nepal financial and capital city Kathmandu. That would boost the economies of both the countries. However, that has not materialized as of yet. Currently, China is developing a major cement factory in Nepal, in Chitwan district, which will take 1 to 3 years to become fully operational, and it will largely be used by Chinese manufacturing firms. The good relations shared between China and Nepal have always been of mutual interests, and both countries benefit from that. Although the growing relations between China and Nepal raise geopolitical tensions in the South Asia region and the northern India, there should not be much doubt about China's primary interest lies in the booming economy of Nepal, which has been ever so dependent on their bilateral trade relations. Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has recently said that there is nothing to be concerned about for India, while not explicitly mentioning China or any other country, and that Nepal needs funds for the sole purpose of development, and that Nepal would welcome any country that is willing to invest in the country. He also urged India to maintain cordial relationship with all its neighbors. Keeping close ties with Nepal will no doubt be hugely beneficial for China, as the demand for free Tibet independence living in Nepal have risen largely owing to its growing industries, and having a strong geopolitical presence in the Himalayan region and the northern India could give them an advantage in terms of accessibility to various defense posts between major powers. On the other hand, as it stands, Nepal can only benefit from the cooperation with a major economic power, as it has done so in terms of their diplomatic, economic, and security affairs, and would be keenly anticipating further developments in their bilateral cooperation. So, let's see what major development will be in China-Nepal relationship and China growing influence in South Asia worrying India. Thank you for watching, and see you soon in next video.